Hello, I'm Gwilda Redmond, and this is the Elevating Women in Business podcast, where we talk to women entrepreneurs and business owners and learn their incredible and unique strategies to finding success. Hello and welcome. My name is Gwilda Redmond. I am the host of Elevating Women in Business, and today my guest is Tara James. Tara James' business is submortgage broker with Citadel Mortgages. She's a mortgage agent, and Tara is a BC licensed mortgage broker and business builder who helps clients navigate mortgages with clarity and confidence. She's passionate about making financing simple, approachable, and tailored for real life goals. So, Tara, welcome. And
Thank you.
what I would like, let's just start out by you introducing who you are. Just tell us who Tara is and what is she like?
Okay. So I'm Tara, a BC licensed mortgage broker, longtime office manager turned entrepreneur, and a natural people person. I describe myself as energetic, resourceful, and a little witty. I like to make money talk feel less intimidating and a lot more human.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit more like about your business, like what you do and what made you choose that?
Yeah. So with all the years in different aspects of finance that included 15 years of accounting, basically everybody in the company was at or past retirement age, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen to the company or my job. And I started thinking, do I really want to continue in accounting and bookkeeping? No, not really, because I've done it for 15 years and I didn't go get my designations and stuff like that. And I'm 50 years old. So I thought, well, if I did go to school, I'd be 57 by the time I finished everything. But,
Mhm.
and what else can I do that I really enjoy? And in the past, I did have a brief 3 years employment at Wells Fargo Financial. And it was kind of like Fairstone Financial or whatever, where we had subprime second mortgages and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed helping those clients and spending time with them. And it was a good time for me almost every single day at that time. And I thought, why don't I just go and get my mortgage broker course done, get my license? And that was what made that decision. And now I'm full time doing it.
That's awesome. So, what is your niche? Like, who are the ideal clients that you like to work with? What are your favorite type of client?
Well, my favorite types of clients are self employed, just because there are a lot of different nuances to it. And quite often, self employed people like us do have issues when it's time to either refinance or get an equity takeout for some debt payment or put it towards your business. The lenders are a lot more scrutinizing. So, since we have so many different options for self employed, different programs, different income, because some of us don't claim we claim our income, but we write it down to so low that it's hard to be qualified for a mortgage when you're claiming 5,000 a year in net income, right? So
Mhm.
I'm
Yes.
working on one right now that's super excited that I can help her out and everything. So it's just a lot more fun than they're all fun, but the self-employed ones I take a special liking to. But I get given all sorts of different mortgage types from the brokerage Citadel. So they do things a little differently where they'll add you to a file to help out and build it, and you can still be paid for it, but just not your full commission split. So I do get a lot of exposure, which is really good.
Oh, that's really good. And
Mm-hmm.
your ideal client, yes, the business owner. I know my husband's always had a job and
Mm-hmm.
I've had jobs, but I'm much happier as an entrepreneur doing
Mm-hmm.
doing my own thing. But then basically when it comes to anything to do with mortgage, I say just leave me off of it because I
Yeah.
don't even know how that's going to work and I don't want it to detract from right.
What the goal is.
Because I'm thinking it's not going to be worth anything anyways. And so it's really good to know that there are people that know the strategies of how you
Yeah.
can help somebody to get a
Yeah.
mortgage because
Yeah.
entrepreneurism is so much more common. you know,
More common these days.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And with dual income households, if one of you is an entrepreneur, it's very important to know how to be able to leverage that for your mortgages. Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yes, I also work with people that are credit challenged and stuff like that too. They might have lots of income, but have things on their credit that are undesirable. Those
Oh,
are good ones to work with too.
you like the challenge.
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to say it's my last employed job, but it was so straightforward and so like I would be finished by 1 o'clock half the time and having to stay there till 5 o'clock and going, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? Like, I don't really want it. This stuff is mind numbingly boring. Like, the numbers part I liked, but it just wasn't enough of a challenge. And I really did start seeing that about 3 years before I left. I was like, I don't know about this anymore.
Yeah. I think the most fun thing about bookkeeping that I ever really enjoyed was if there was a mistake somewhere and you had to find it. You know,
Yeah.
that back forensics, that
Yeah.
was exciting because that was a challenge. But yeah,
Yeah.
keeping the books is like,
And there
where is
weren't
it?
any things going wrong ever. And I was just like,
No.
okay, yeah, I'm basically just doing data entry and making sure that the accounts look good.
So, Tara, what makes you different from other mortgage brokers? What do you feel makes you stand out?
Well, in most conversations, I bring some humor at some point just
Mm.
to, let people know that I'm a human and not just a robot behind a computer asking them questions. Straight talk, always, always straight talk. And the client first approach, which most of us are client first approach, I'd like to think. And like you just kind of have to be, but I
Mhm.
really am client first. I'm not here to sell. I'm here to educate and empower so that clients feel confident in every decision that they make.
Yeah. And that's important when your client trusts that you're giving them the straight goods. It's not about you want to ensure that you get paid for them, but that you know that they're getting what they need.
And there's a lot of times where a file doesn't go through for whatever reason, and I don't get paid. But that's not what I'm thinking about when I begin speaking with a client. I'm thinking about how can I help them? Oh, I see there's an issue here. How can I make some suggestions, or what kind of a product might line up better for them than what they're doing now or whatever?
What are some of the key strategies or habits that you have brought into your business that you feel are significant for your success?
Well, definitely consistency and follow up, and then
Mm,
treating every client as if they're mine only for me, that kind of
mm.
thing. Also, I make time to stay educated on policy changes so I can translate the fine print into clear, useful advice. And
Yeah,
also,
that's
trying to build partnerships with other like real estate agents, and I have a tax professional that I work with, and she gives me referrals, and I have a referral program or whatever that she gets a little bit of something for sending me a referral if that file goes through. And
great.
really, it's just building those relationships. At first, I found it really kind of difficult because
Mhm.
years ago, it wasn't a difficult thing to cold call a real estate agent and talk to them. But now they're hearing from people like no less than 20 times a week. And I
Right.
know how I feel when people are plummeting me that I don't even know.
Yeah.
So I've built some relationships on Facebook, and I provide like a financing estimate sheet that they can use and stuff like that, and they are really starting to like that. One of my
Mm.
realtors was actually she messaged me the other day and said, I so regret not asking for one of those pretty finance sheets that you did for our open house a couple weeks ago because I got stuck on the spot, somebody asking me finance questions and I had
Oh.
nothing to show them. So she said, I'm definitely coming to you for one of those. She's a friend of mine for a while, quite a while. So we always have a good laugh about things like that. But she was like, oh, yeah, I was certainly caught with my pants down in that situation. I was like, you should have messaged me. I probably would have answered you.
That's doing all the referrals, collaborations, different things,
Mhm.
working together with other professionals that are not competitors, but have the same ideal client as you, or type of,
Yeah, like
you're
they
all
had the
you're
same
all
interest.
working kind of together to get them into a new home or into your
Hmm.
business or whatever it is that they're trying to achieve.
Absolutely.
So, how do you ensure that you keep everything balanced?
I am that kind of person that when I have things on the go and I have clients depending on me, that I will literally sit at the computer from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. with getting up for a bathroom break here and there. I've
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
realized this week that I really need to stop jumping at first thing in the morning like that. I didn't even sit and have a coffee and wake myself up this morning. I literally just came and sat at the computer at 6 with my
Yeah.
coffee.
Yeah.
But it was a good feeling to be super dealing with 3 or 4 different people at once and stuff like that. But at the same time, that's not going to last long where I don't give myself, time to go to the gym. I have a gym
Mhm.
membership that I'm not using. So
Mhm.
I need to schedule my time better for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and then to have the self-discipline. But it's like it's really hard because you get wrapped up in it. And when you
Mhm.
enjoy what you're doing, it's so easy to do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for, let's say there's a woman out there and she wants to become a mortgage broker. Do you have any advice for her about how to get started? What are
Hmm.
the steps should she be connecting with someone? What should she do?
Okay, so first and foremost, before anybody can be a mortgage broker, you have to sign up for the mandatory UBC training. So that's a $1,500 course. I myself opted to take a tutor course on the side of that because the UBC material is very heavy and there's like
Mhm.
60 pages per chapter. And you get one shot and write the test. You don't get to submit assignments. You don't get anything like that. So I opted to pay another $1,500 for a tutor course, and I did pass on the first try. A lot of us don't pass on the first try because that material is so hefty. So that's the one piece of advice that I would like to point out. It was called Go BC, and it was
Mhm.
a much easier to digest course format. And they had you practice things over and over again with the questions. And it was just great. If I hadn't have done that, I don't think I would have passed the first try. Once the course has been completed and you get your passing grade and everything like that, you have to then find a brokerage before you apply for your license. So you find a brokerage to work under. Usually it's like a job interview, but there's quite a few out there that will take on a new mortgage broker.
Mhm.
Not every single mortgage company will take a brand new person, but the bigger ones typically will, like Dominion Lending Centers, there's Brooks Mortgage, Citadel Mortgages. They're all quite well versed in brand new people, and they have training programs for you and all that good stuff.
Mhm.
And then once you get approval that they're going to bring you on board, they help you get your licensing started. And then it's up to you to go on to BCFSA and start your application process. They do a big background screening and stuff like that. So it can take a couple of months for them to actually get through everything. It just depends on the file. Mine was quick. I think I was applied and approved within 3 weeks. But yeah, it's by all means, it's not an immediate hit the ground as soon as you got to wait for the licensing authority to say, yes, you're suitable to be a mortgage broker.
Oh, wow.
You go through your onboarding with your brokerage. And the other piece of advice I would like to say is really, really research the brokerages before you just sign up with somebody. I had signed up with one and paid a hefty sign up fee, which nobody else has.
Mhm.
Turned out it wasn't that great. And I actually lost a file because I couldn't get the support I needed to answer questions that I had.
Wow.
So I went over to Citadel and they've been just amazing. I'll ask
Mm.
them a question at 8 p.m. my time. They're in Ontario,
Yeah,
11
yeah,
p.m., and they're
yeah.
answering me.
Okay, so when you're looking for a brokerage firm, you want to make sure they've got a really skookum mentorship, really.
Yeah, and you want to find out from, try to find other agents that are signed up under them and see if you
And
can
find out.
strike up a conversation and find out what they feel about where they're at. And it's just all different pay structures. You have to just basically, if there's a really transparent pay structure that you can really see how you're getting paid, that's another common pitfall too that I've heard of.
Oh, wow.
By the time
That's
you get your
interesting. Yeah.
commission check, they've taken all this money out and you didn't realize that you were
Not
doing
kidding.
all this work on 10 files to get paid $2,000. It's a lot
Oh,
of, yeah. But not that everything's about getting paid, but just there's some brokerages that have confusing pay plans and stuff like that. So you just want to make sure that you really do your homework.
well, the reality is that you're doing this job because you need income and your time is worth money and you should be getting paid appropriately for your time and effort. So while maybe your heart focus isn't exactly about the money, the reality focus is, right?
Yeah.
You want to make
Yeah,
sure that you're with someone where you're getting top dollar payment for top dollar effort. So,
absolutely. We're
yeah.
all worth money.
Yeah, we are. We are. So now we're a networking group, and I know you're very new to our group. What does networking mean? What is important about networking? And you already sort of talked about it. You meet realtors and different
Mm-hmm.
people that you can kind of collaborate with. But is there anything you can sort of just let us know? Why is networking so important?
Well, I think it gives you a chance to connect beyond deals and build partnerships. You know, once you start talking to somebody on a regular basis, and yes, you kind of make friends, I think, along the way too,
Mhm.
even though there's a line between friendship and a business relationship. But, if you're doing it right, I think that you can have both.
Yeah. And I think that even with a line between the friendship and business relationship,
Hmm.
if it's somebody that you've really gotten to know, you're comfortable with that they are have that integrity and that they're genuine and that
Hmm.
if you're going to refer your clients to a realtor, you want to know that realtor, right? You want to
Yeah.
know that realtor is going to bend over backwards for your client.
Friend of
Exactly.
mine said, she's like, not all real estate agents and not all mortgage brokers are created equally. There are ones that don't really care about the client as much as they should. And that's
Mhm.
unfortunate, but so yeah, you do want to make sure that you're presenting yourself as a trustworthy person and be able to trust the people that you're working with too. Because yeah, you're
Mhm.
right. Your name is sort of on the line when you make a referral.
Yes. Has networking, I would say that you've already mentioned how creating these referral partners or business kind of interdealings this is something that you focused on. So that's impacted your growth as a mortgage broker, would you say?
Yes, yes. At first it was taking applications, they weren't going through, or the clients just kind of went, "Oh, I'm not going to send you the documents." Just a learning curve. And building those relationships was a learning curve too. I just sort of started watching and saying, what can I do to actually start talking to this one realtor that I don't really know? We have a
Mhm.
mutual friend on Facebook. I saw that he had a reduced listing and I thought he needs to move that. So I'm just going to offer him one of my finance sheets and see how that goes. And he was so appreciative of it. And he even did me a favor yesterday. I was working on a file that I wasn't sure about the value of the property to put down. And he went and he did comparables for me and he sent them to me. It was great.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah, there you go. There's a partnership or whatever. So we're starting to build that relationship now. We haven't, met up or done open houses yet, but we're getting there. But I am very, very new at networking. I've never been to a networking meeting before in my life. So I'm learning. But
It sounds like you're doing really well because I know one of the things where some people, when they haven't really been to networking before, they come with
Mhm.
this sense of it's all about selling to each other. So they're coming with an expectation that
Mhm.
I'm going to come as a realtor. And so now you guys are going to refer to me and I'm going to make, this is how I'm going to make money.
Mhm.
And it's like, so not that. It's about building relationships and it's
Yeah.
about helping each other. So it's never about what can I get out of this? It's about
Yeah.
how can I help others? And then
Mhm.
they will see that I have integrity and I'm a genuine person, and then they will reciprocate that. But it's about getting to know each other. And I think that's exactly
Yeah.
what you're doing. I think what you're doing is absolutely networking. It may not be in a
Group
formal,
setting.
but it's definitely networking what you're doing. And I think you're doing a
Yeah.
great job of it.
Oh, well, thank
And
you.
yeah, I think so.
I'm enjoying it.
And so my next question, it was going to be, what advice would you have for someone new to networking?
The
So
networking. All I can say is what I've noticed so far is very definitely it's not about, hey, my name is so and so. I'm a mortgage broker or a realtor or whatever. Give me your business. Like it just doesn't work like that.
yeah.
People, what are you talking about? I don't even know you.
One of the things that I love about networking is when someone comes in that's not networked before, they come in and they realize what it is, and then they love it. You're coming in, you're building relationships with people, regardless of whether they're going to be an impact in your business or not. You're still creating these relationships because all businesses need certain things. And so all of us can learn from each other, regardless of what your business is. And that's, I think, one of the biggest part of networking too, is when you come to a meeting and you say, I'm struggling with, XYZ. And then you have 10 other women at the table that are saying, oh, I did that. This is what I tried. And maybe someone will say, oh, that didn't work for me, but I tried this and this worked for
Mhm.
me. Because there's no like
There's no
linear
formula.
line.
Yeah.
Everybody's, you're going like this, figuring it out. And when you realize that nobody was a straight line, everybody's going like this, it also gives you a lot more confidence in the fact that
Yeah.
you will find success. My last question is, what best piece of advice would you like to share with any woman thinking about getting into business? Is there something you'd like to say to the woman who's maybe been working a corporate job for a long time and then she
Mhm.
wants to find something that's more hers?
I would say the very first and foremost, as I had tried to go into business prior to, like, a few times actually, I came to that realization over the last month or two that, hey, I've been trying to be self employed for quite some time over
Oh,
the
yeah.
years. It just never worked out. But the first and foremost thing is you have to make sure you can pay your bills while you're trying to build your business. Because if you're upset and worried about bill payments not being made, your mind is not focused on building a business. It panic takes over. We all know that feeling of, oh, yeah, we have to, oh, the cable bill is like $300. Where am I getting that $300 from? So I was fortunate enough to be able to have an agreement with my employer that I was paid some money, like a severance or whatever. And my husband makes decent money, and I was able to get employment insurance. So
Mm,
I had that. It's
yes.
not as much as I was being paid before, of course, but
No.
at least there was that little bit of a safety net. So prior, I had started with $0 in the bank, and I was building, bills and expenses, but not being able to pay them. And then I just freaked out and went, I have to go back to work. Like that,
Yeah.
always have to have a safety net, a support system around you,
Yeah.
whether it's a spouse or older children or friends or somebody. Like you just need that support system, and make sure that you've got, people to talk to that understand. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what these groups are probably good for too, because
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times my husband is very supportive, but he doesn't understand some things because he's not the mortgage person. He doesn't
And
know
he's
how
not
things
a
are going to
woman.
go. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
No being broke when you're starting, because unless you've got something you know is going to take off in seconds, in those cases, a proper business plan. In my industry, it's not really so much about a business plan other than how do I plan to network with people? How do I plan to get things going? But
Yeah.
it's not like a traditional business plan where you're looking at all the things that you would be if you were starting a grocery store, say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe more of like a business plan in the way of knowing, like figuring out what your brand is, how
Mm-hmm.
you are going to come across, and also who your client is, like who you're
Mm-hmm.
talking to when you're marketing and things like that. So there is sort of still
There
a
is a
plan,
bit of a,
but maybe not quite as official as
yeah, like not
like
as
not where
granular.
you're, yeah. But I agree with everything you're saying. Definitely the best time to start your own business is while you're still working. And, start with your business plan for sure. Like get that
Mhm.
figured out. And because you will not make money the first 2, 3 years, like you just not.
Nope. Yep. I mean,
And
exactly. It can
so
take a
you have
while.
to have either backup money or a job, and you start on the side, and it's a lot of work, but it's really worth it if you continue. And that's probably the biggest thing is don't give up,
That's right. And
right?
it is really easy
Yeah.
in the valley of the shadow of death sometimes where you're
Yes.
just like, what was I thinking? Ah!
Oh, I know, right? And then, like you say, having that tribe behind you of like-minded women who know what you're going through, probably have gone through it themselves, probably quit a couple of times and finally didn't quit and finally made it.
Mhm.
They can help just bolster you up and say, don't you give up. Do not give up. You're doing really good. Just don't give up.
Yeah.
Even incremental, small, little incremental successes, eventually you're going to get there. And sometimes it's slow and those overnight success, like they're not really overnight success.
No, they're not.
They were plugging away for a really long time. So we're all in that same boat. And I think getting together in a group where you can talk about that boat and how hard it is and all the things it takes, then it makes it easier to say, okay, you leave that meeting going, okay, I can do it. I can keep
Yeah, I
doing.
feel better now.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the best thing about the meetings. They're almost like a therapy session where you go in feeling like I can't do this anymore. And you come out going, oh, hell yeah, I can.
That's what I'm looking forward to most about this networking group, I think.
Yes. Okay. Well, thanks so much, Tara, for meeting with me today. It's been great to get to know you more. Can't
Yeah.
wait to see you at the meetings. And I can't wait to be there with you to celebrate successes as you grow. It's going to be amazing.
I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Thank you so much for joining us. Please subscribe and we will see you again soon. Thanks. Thank you for joining us, and check the notes for information about our guest. I invite you to join us at the BC Women's Business Network to meet many more amazing women. Hit the subscribe button and join us again next time on Elevating Women in Business.